Christ Cathedral, formerly the Crystal Cathedral, is a church in Garden Grove, California that opened in 1980. An Iowa transplant, Reverend Robert Schuller first began preaching to LA motorists perched atop the snack bar at the Orange Drive-In Theater in 1955. He couldn't have picked a more promising spot. The newly built Santa Ana Freeway ensured easy access to the region from Los Angeles. Nearby theme parks, Knott's Berry Farm and Disneyland not only drew tourists to the area, but also celebrated a vision of an all-American wholesome family life that complemented the social ideals of evangelical ministries like Schuller's. Most importantly, the agricultural land of northern Orange County was being rapidly filled in with housing. Developers eager to cash in on the post-war economic prosperity of the region were constructing vast suburban tracts. They were filled by thousands of white families, first-time homeowners eager to enter the middle class. As his drive-in congregation thrived, he commissioned noted architect Richard Neutra to design a larger building. His design could seat 1,400 people and would be called the Garden Grove Community Church, which would be equipped with a sound system that still allowed him to address people seated outside in their cars. In 1968, the congregation completed the Tower of Hope to provide office and classroom space, but continued growth led to the need for a new sanctuary. In 1975, the congregation outgrew Reverend Schuller's first church building, now known as the Arboretum, largely due to the worldwide reach of his Hour of Power television show. Reverend Schuller wanted a larger permanent church edifice to uplift the human spirit. He searched for well-known architects and chose legendary American architect Philip Johnson and his partner John Berge. Johnson and Berge in the late 1970s presented their design for an all-glass church to Schuller. Upon seeing the first model, Schuller is said to have responded, "Wow, it looks like a Crystal Cathedral." He wanted a building that was both a building and not a building, so that, in a sense, he could be an enclosure, but it would be as if he were outdoors, which is where he began his ministry. So this building was an entire shell of glass. Construction of the Crystal Cathedral began in 1977 and was completed in 1980, built at a cost of $18 million. The 10,000 signature rectangular panes of glass comprised the building were not bolted to the structure. They were glued to it using a silicone-based glue. This and other measures were intended to allow the building to withstand an earthquake of a magnitude 8.0. The 128-foot glass and steel structure was a bold statement of thriving evangelical community amidst the suburbs and freeways of northern Orange County, able to seat over 3,000 people and to accommodate thousands more in the adjoining parking lot. The Crystal Cathedral combined consumer culture with Christ. The completion of the cathedral in 1980 was timely. It coincided with the election to the presidency of the former California governor, Ronald Reagan, and the emergence of evangelical Christianity. Schuller's ministry in the Crystal Cathedral, which housed it, was carefully constructed products of conservative Southern California culture, economics, and politics. The Crystal Cathedral drew support from the large local community of white evangelicals in the 1980s and 1990s. But by the new millennium, Orange County was shifting in its demographics, changing to include Spanish, Vietnamese, Mandarin, and Cantonese worshippers. The original population of parishioners were aging and diminishing, and at the same time, the proportion of non-white residents was increasing. This was happening all over the region, but it was particularly pronounced in parts of Orange County like Anaheim and Garden Grove that surrounded the Crystal Cathedral. With membership rolls dropping off, donations to the ministry declined. A series of financial setbacks led to the megachurch's filing for bankruptcy in October of 2010, including a $36 million mortgage and a $7.5 million in other debt, and a forced sale of its 40-acre campus. Turmoil in the ministry included the firings of Schuyler's daughter, Gretchen Penner, and 2 son-in-laws. The Reverend Schuyler sued the ministry he had built from scratch for $5 million in a 10-day trial in Los Angeles. The $55 million debt incurred by the Crystal Cathedral grew to be overwhelming, and Schuyler's ministry filed for bankruptcy. After the bankruptcy filing, the ministry sold the building and adjacent campus to the Roman Catholic Diocese of Orange for its new cathedral and rechristened it the Christ Cathedral. So what do you remember about this place? Leave a comment or a suggestion for a future video below. And if you haven't already, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.
Bringing back memories from the good old days. That's super cool, man.